Thanks very much. So I'm going to present on the safety monitoring of the COVID-19 vaccines. So this slide provides an outline of what I'm going to cover, from why do we need to monitor the safety of medicines, who does the safety monitoring in the EU, are there different safety requirements for the vaccines compared to other medicines, how is safety of vaccines studied from development to use in real life, how is the safety of vaccines studied before and then after approval, how will we know if a side effect is caused by a vaccine, and then informing the public on suspected and confirmed side effects. This slide provides a link to both Marco and Fergus's presentation, which essentially represents the development of the COVID-19 vaccines through the different classical stages of vaccine and drug development. And you'll see with the red box on the right-hand side that the focus of my presentation is very much on the safety monitoring, with a particular focus on the on-market safety monitoring. So why do we need to monitor the safety of medicines? Well, all medicines, including vaccines, have both benefits and risks. At the time of approval, the evidence will come mainly from controlled randomized clinical trials. And after approval, the vaccines will be used in real conditions by a far, far larger population. So we need to monitor the safety to identify any new or changing risks as quickly as possible, so that we can take action to optimize the safe and effective use of those vaccines by citizens. This slide poses the question, who does the safety monitoring in the EU? But before we address that, let's just ask ourselves what we're talking about. So the EU has a comprehensive safety monitoring and risk management system in place, and this system is referred to as the EU pharmacovigilance system. If you look at the graphic on the left, you will see of what we call the pharmacovigilance cycle. And let me just walk you through this. So we start by collecting, managing, and analyzing all relevant data and information on the safety of the vaccines. Next, we review and assess these data and information to see if there are any new or changing issues that need to be addressed. We then take a decision and act, and we would communicate any important information to users of the vaccines. We then monitor to see that the action has been effective, and we start the cycle again in terms of collecting, managing, and analyzing safety and data and information. If we now move to the right-hand side of the slide, this summarizes key actors involved in safety monitoring in the European Union. Appropriately, patients are at the top, patients and citizens as the recipients of vaccines and the beneficiaries of vaccines in terms of preventing a serious COVID-19. But patients also have a very important role in terms of reporting suspected side effects, and we'll come back to that later. Regulatory agencies have important responsibilities laid down in law to monitor the safety and to take action in the event of a safety issue. Marketing authorization holders, or otherwise known as vaccine manufacturers, again have legal responsibilities to collect all available safety data, to report safety data and alerts to the regulatory agencies, and to conduct safety studies in certain circumstances. And then lastly, healthcare professionals working within the national healthcare systems, important role in terms of safe administration of the vaccines and reporting suspected side effects. Are there different safety requirements for COVID-19 vaccines? Well, the foundation is the same. The core safety requirements are the same for COVID-19 vaccines as they are for any other vaccine in the EU. It's important to remind you that vaccines are only approved if overall the benefits outweigh their risks. Importantly though, COVID-19 vaccines will be used in millions of EU citizens in a short period of time. And due to the large number of vaccinated people, we need to ensure safety monitoring reacts quickly. If you look at the graphic on the right, this is trying to represent the fact that we will generate very large volumes of safety data and information in a short period of time because of the millions and perhaps tens of millions of people that will be vaccinated in a short duration, compared, if you look at the blue box, to the more gradual rollout of a medicine or a vaccine, which would be the normal case. This is why additional resources are being mobilized to closely monitor safety and assess new information. How is safety of vaccines studied from the development stage to use in real life? Again, you'll see the same graphic is used showing the development stages of the vaccine. And we're going to touch in subsequent slides on the safety during drug development and then the safety of authorized vaccines. But I just want to take this opportunity to introduce the EudraVigilance database. This is the European database of suspected side effects, suspected adverse reactions to medicines. This starts collecting suspected side effects from clinical trials, and then this is where all the safety reports from all the European reports coming from patients, from healthcare professionals in Europe, but also around the world, are pooled and then scrutinized to try and detect new or changing safety issues once the product's on the market. You'll see on the right-hand side of the slide, we summarize the post-marketing safety monitoring. So information from regulators worldwide, medical literature, specific safety studies, and then of course, reports of suspected side effects from patients and healthcare professionals. And we'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a subsequent slide. So how is the safety of vaccines studied before approval? And Marco, in his presentation, touched on this, but I just wanted to summarize it because it gives a good, an important context to the post-authorization monitoring that I'll go on then to describe. So first of all, to remind you that safety starts with ensuring that vaccines are of good quality. And this is demonstrated by studies showing their purity. As Fergus emphasized, testing is conducted to ensure that each batch of vaccine is of good quality, and vaccines undergo non-clinical studies to exclude toxicity. Vaccines are being studied in some of the largest clinical trials we've seen at the EMA, involving tens of thousands of individuals. And these large clinical trials have vigorous safety monitoring, which allows us to estimate the frequency of the more common side effects. Safety follow-up of volunteers, as Marco elaborated, is for about 6 weeks. And then there are extended clinical trials which will pick up any longer term effects. Let's now ask the question, why and how is the safety monitored after approval? Let's start with the why. The why is because we want to detect previously unrecognized or changing side effects so that we can optimize safe and effective use. Moving on to the how, we have intensive analysis of reports of suspected side effects that are sent in by patients and healthcare professionals. Manufacturers are obliged to conduct safety studies. Additional independent studies will be performed at European level on the safety of vaccines when used in real life. And there's intensive international collaboration on the COVID-19 vaccines already established so that we can exchange data, information, alerts, and can discuss any emerging safety issues. How will we know if a side effect is caused by the vaccine? Now, this is an important question. And the first thing to say is we have established analysis techniques to assess whether a side effect is likely to be caused by a vaccine. What's the issue here? Well, since millions and perhaps tens of millions of people will be getting the vaccine in a short time, many of them will develop illnesses for other reasons in close proximity to vaccination. If these occur just after vaccination, they may well be reported as suspected adverse reactions, suspected side effects to the vaccine, when in fact the association was just due to chance. It was a temporal relationship rather than a causal relationship. But we need to investigate all reports using these established analysis techniques, and if an analysis concludes that a new side effect is caused by a vaccine, it's included in the package leaflet and we communicate it to all our stakeholders. I want to touch on informing the public of suspected and confirmed side effects. EMA is fully committed to high levels of transparency and keeping patients and healthcare professionals fully informed so that they can make their choices. For example, public access to the EudraVigilance database, so the European database of side effects, has been in place since 2012 through the website adrreports.eu. Publication of data from reports of suspected side effects to the COVID-19 vaccines will be updated weekly. We will also be publishing COVID-19 safety updates. So these are narrative summaries of any reviews conducted and conclusions reached. We will be publishing proactively the risk management plans for COVID-19 vaccines. These are the plans that bind the pharmaceutical companies to do additional studies in the post-authorization phase. Established side effects, of course, will be included in the package leaflet. And luckily, we have very well-established networks with national medicines agencies and stakeholder groups at European level. So if necessary, we can push out information on the benefits and risks of the vaccines if there's a need to push out that information rapidly. You can report side effects yourself. This is a really important message that we want to give today, that reporting suspected side effects following vaccination is critical. Anyone can report a suspected side effect, either to their national authority or to the vaccine manufacturer. All reports are then sent very quickly to EudraVigilance, the European database of side effects, where the data are analysed to detect new or changing side effects, and anonymised data are then made public for all to review. So we call on you to please report suspected side effects. I'd like to conclude by reminding us that vaccines are a key pillar of public health and have proven to prevent serious disease. No medicine's 100% safe, so like any other medicines, vaccines can have side effects. The majority are mild, and even rare, serious side effects must be balanced against the prevention of severe or even fatal disease like COVID-19. We have a strong EU pharmacovigilance system in place, and safety will not be compromised. Unprecedented steps are being taken to monitor safety in practice, to be transparent, and to take action immediately. I remind again that use of a face mask and hygiene, physical distance remain important. And I put it to you that COVID-19 vaccine safety will be stronger with your participation. And again, we say, please report suspected side effects. Thank you for listening to that presentation. I hand over now to Melanie Carr, who is Head of Stakeholders and Communication Division at EMA, and she will cover the transparency, engagement and communication elements.